been given access to receive messages of clarity, guidance, and love. As channeler, psychotherapist, and author, Noemi Grace has an intimate dialogue with the divine on your behalf. Lisa Berry, creator of the show Light on Living, will be co-hosting as live callers ask their burning question on self-love, self-healing, deepening relationships, areas of struggle, and next steps. By simply listening in, you're receiving wisdom that will lead to sacred stability from every channeled message that Noemi delivers. Join us now as we give you access to angels and grace. Well, hello, everyone. Thanks so much for being here with us. Noemi Grace and myself, Lisa Berry, are just happy to be here and helping you literally have access to angels and grace. Hello, Noemi.
Oh, and wisdom and love and all kinds of good stuff and answers. And we are definitely happy to be here. Every time we're happy to be here. It's such a gift to be able to share this with you, Lisa, and with our listeners.
Yes, I feel like there's this excitement, like, wow, you know what, we have questions all the time. We have a dialogue that does go on in our own minds that, how can we, live a happier life? How can we get answers to this? How can we be ready for things? How can, we help and serve better? So today we ask our title question here is, when you're ready, but it's not happening. Like, why? We want answers.
Not that has ever happened to me,
Yeah. When we think of just that, it's so frustrating. You think, but I am ready. I'm aligned. I've set things up. I got the space rented, or I have the right relationship, or I'm ready for a baby, or I've worked so hard and something, right? And you think like, why? What's going on here?
Yeah. And there's so much going on, but what we start to look at is what's not happening. And sometimes we then get into a bit of victim consciousness. Like, when my book didn't happen, and I'm doing air quotes, when it was completed on December 31st, 2016, but came out. It hadn't been edited, but I had the draft completed, and then it came out in 2019. So it was like, it's not happening. I did everything. I did what I was supposed to do. Why isn't it happening? I put in all this work, and so we can get into this very victim consciousness place if we're not aware, and that's never going to lead us to having more of what we want.
Exactly. I know that listeners are like, their ears are perking up like, that's right. So what we were going to do here is, I write these show descriptions. They are a conversation. Like, they're not, if you haven't seen them, we always post them in Facebook, but they're of course here on the OMTimes radio page, Access to Angels and Grace right on our page there. And they're always, they have little, I don't know. I know we're going to publish these one day because our show descriptions are really helpful. I'm going to read this week's show description right now, and then we're going to have Noemi do her, I want to say magic, but use her lovely gifts for us as she can channel for us and get some more answers. But so when you're ready, but it's not happening. Sometimes we feel ready for something new in our lives. We imagine what it will look like when it comes, and we believe it will make us happy when we get it. When we receive what we hoped for, we can feel validated, accepted, and rewarded. But when things don't happen in the way we envisioned, disappointment, rejection, denial, and depression can quickly replace our expected experience of joy. We can feel betrayed by life and others who are not giving us what we think we are ready to receive. But what if we are not as ready as we think we are? And how do we get readier? The key is to focus more on creating the inner experience you desire than on getting the things you want. If you want a new relationship that is supportive and loving, how can you start to experience that now in your relationships with yourself and others? If a promotion would help you to feel validated and valued, how can you value and validate yourself more and spend more time with the people who value you? If you want the security of financial abundance and the ability to afford the things you want, what changes can you make in your life now to feel more secure and say yes to yourself and your desires? By continually aligning with what's right for you, you organically grow into readiness. I love that so much. You organically grow into readiness. Then you become an internal match for the experience you desire, and you speed up the manifestations of the external things you want. So, Noemi, I just, that is so yummy and perfect. And, you know, by continually aligning with what's right for you, you organically grow into readiness. And my first question would ask you right away, readiness, like we're talking about we think we're ready. How, first of all, we're in this position, we think we're ready. Why do we think we're so ready? Like what?
And maybe so there's multiple, where do you answer that question from? Am I ready? You know, is it the mind, the ego, your heart? Is it that deep knowing of who you are? And so, you know, ready is not like a yes or no, like flipping the light switch. Oops, now I'm ready because I flipped the switch. There's degrees of readiness, you know? And so you're ready to a point, but maybe what's wanting to manifest for you, I'm getting this sense of things like if we want things, what if they want us? And so what's meaning to, and things, people, relationships, not just things, but what if what's wanting to manifest for us requires a deeper level of readiness because it's so much more than what we're ready for.
Yes, more than what we are ready for. And, you know, you just brought up something really interesting when you said about what happens if the manifestation, the person, the relationship, the thing, what if they're not ready? They don't want it. And that's a neat thing because I know I have to bring this up, in my dating experience, you know, there have been times where they were like, you would have thought they were the perfect match, but I wasn't ready, or vice versa, right? Like I think, oh wow, I'm so perfect for them, but they're like, nope, not ready for that yet. and you do feel that rejection at first and everything, but I love that you said, where are you answering the question from? Like, am I ready? Yeah, is it, where would be the wrong place? Not wrong, but the one that's not going to give you the best answer.
Well, you know, the deepest, when we are aligned with the truth of who we are, when we know who we are, and that's going to be emphasized in what you love to call the pre-channeled message. You know, then we're going to have an answer, you know, depending on where we ask, we're going to have an answer that's really in alignment with the truth of who we are. And it's okay not to be ready in this whole thing, you know. It's okay not to be fully ready, to be partially ready. You know, it's okay. It's you know, sometimes you want to make a big change in your life and you're ready part way. You're ready to do, and maybe it's something you can do incrementally, but maybe it's not. Maybe it needs that leap of faith and you're not quite to the cliff yet, or you're there looking down going, I'm not so sure about this. So, you
Pause.
know, yeah.
Oh, you know, I love the pause and the fully ready, and yeah, it's okay to be partially ready. And I think that in the pre-channeled message, we get to hear a little bit more about that. So, all of our beautiful listeners, you may be familiar with this or not. And if it's your first time, this is an amazing part. Noemi takes our topic, and she has. It's a conversation. She asks the question to the divine, to source, and then listens, and then just hears, and she transcribes it. She writes it down, and then polishes it up a little bit, cleans it up, and then we get to hear it as she shares with us now, and it can inspire some questions, and it imparts some wisdom for us. So I would love for you to read that.
Oh, well, thank you, Lisa, for that sharing. Yeah, it becomes, you know, Lisa and I, the process. So most of this is unscripted, but we chat in between shows, and so we come up with what really feels like it's whatever's resonating for both of us, and then we write the show description, and then I sit with the divine, and they take it to where they want to go with it, and it's always good. Sometimes it's a slightly different angle, slightly different slant rather, on what we were talking about, but it's always so relevant and valuable. And I always learn something. I'm always like wowed and just grateful to be able to do this. So this is what the divine had to say about when you're ready, but it's not happening. And I entitled this message, You Are the Key. How do you sit with what you desire? When you want something and it feels absolutely right and best for you, how do you sit with it when it's not manifesting? Do you sit in impatience or agitation? Do you obsessively and anxiously affirm that it is yours? Do you feel like a victim of circumstances and blame yourself, others, or us for what you perceive is lacking and being denied to you? Can you enjoy the experience of waiting? And in waiting, can you be present with your desire in a non-obsessive or controlling way? You all seek to have more control in your lives. It is human nature, or more accurately, ego nature. Learn to shift out of the ego to the heart of who you are, to the essence of you. To do this, you must know yourself. As you discover the beautiful and powerful truth of who you are and align more with that truth, you free yourself from everything that is incompatible with who you truly are. You must learn to leave the ego domain and its need to demand and control and become comfortable in the not knowing of what's happening in your life. This is much easier when you are at home in the truth of who you are. Then nothing can shake you out of that truth. And as you relish in who you are, what you desire begins to align more and more with that truth of you. When you know in the depths of your being that something is right and best for you, and you live as the power and truth of who you are, you become so comfortable within yourself. And this helps you to be more comfortable in the not knowing of what will happen and when it will happen. As you relax into the knowing of what's right and best for you, for the true you, the you that you are at the center of your being, that true essence, then you can relax in the presence of uncertainty. When you know your deepest and highest self, you understand your innate nature and the truth of your connection to us. Will you focus on becoming more of you and deepening your connection with us? We have heard your deepest yearnings, your heart's desires, and we are on it. You do not need to struggle to obtain it. What resonates with the truth of who you are, it will be attracted to you and you to it. When you live as the truth of who you are, life is so much easier for you when you focus on being you rather than doing so much and having so much. We are not interested in denying you anything, yet your mental gyrations, controlling behavior, and unwillingness to change, and your inflexibility interfere and result in what seems to you as you being denied what you desire. You must learn to live life from the inside out, from being the truth of who you are. Then your doing aligns with your being and supports your being. And this causes wondrous things to line up for you. Don't blame yourself, others, us, or anyone for why your circumstances in your life are as they are. Instead, recognize them as opportunities for you to become more you, to support you, the truth of you, through your choices. As you make decisions, consider, does this align with the truth of who I am? When you speak to others, ask yourself, does what I'm saying resonate with the truth of who I am? When you evaluate your choices from the perspective of aligning with the truth of you, you won't go against yourself and commit to things or people that demean or diminish you, or you won't be false to yourself. Free yourself through your choices, through choosing what aligns more with who you really are. And as you do, you magnetize to you all that is in alignment with that truth. Here is the process we want you to understand. You focus on you, on becoming you, fully you, and you release your desires to the universe. Then choose what aligns with the truth of you and allow us to work collaboratively with you to help you co-create what is most right and best for you. No struggle is necessary, but surrender is. In surrender, you are fully without struggle, and you free yourself to receive. First, to receive you and us, and then to receive others as the truth of who they are, and eventually to receive everything in alignment with your deepest truth. In receiving, there is no struggle, only welcoming and embracing. You, the real you, is the key to everything you desire, the key that turns the manifestation engine and allows you to create a life of joy, meaning, and fulfillment. We rest here in the full knowing of the truth of who you are and invite you to join us here. In great love, we are complete. Namaste.
That is such a powerful, beautiful, helpful message. That one that has so much in there.
Yeah.
I love the key that turns the manifestation engine. That's that's what we chose our train tracks. We were feeling like the train and the engine and pulling. What is so neat in there, Noemi, is I like the process, which I want to do this, but I like this. Here we go. A lot of people, you might be saying, like, so God doesn't want me to have this, or
yeah,
that's the big one. Yes, yeah. I'm
and
not.
They said they're not interested in denying us anything.
Exactly, and that's one of the big things. If that we could really know that we are not being denied, we are not being punished. We do deserve things, and it's not that somebody else doesn't want us to have it because we were bad or we did this. It's really quite the process. And I think that the number one thing I love that is in the process is the first step is to focus on fully being you. Like that's good. That's love.
That's really good. And a piece that I kind of edited out a little bit was saying that it said that in the messages that they're giving me for, the work that you and I, Lisa, are doing, it always comes back to know yourself. Yeah. That's like a key point that they're stressing over and over again. Get to know yourself. Discover who you are. It will change you to the core, from the core, actually. From the core, because it's at the core that you are. So it won't change you to the core. It'll change you from the core. And it will empower you. And there's the key. I mean, do you know yourself? And are you aligning with that? Are you choosing what resonates with the truth of who you are?
Okay, I'm already feeling the question that's going to come up. So when we go to commercial break, when we come back from commercial break, actually,
we are going. Yes.
Yeah, we are going. I feel like I just heard every listener just saying this question. So we're ready. And then Noemi's going to channel for us beautiful messages from the divine. So we'll come right back. Thank you.
Yes, please come back.
The Real Conscious Connection. OMTimes Radio. IOM FM. OMTimes Magazine is one of the leading online content providers of positivity, wellness, and personal empowerment. A philanthropic organization, their net proceeds are funneled to support worldwide charity initiatives via Humanity Healing International. Through their commitment to creating community and providing conscious content, they aspire to uplift humanity on a global scale. OMTimes, co-creating a more conscious lifestyle.
This is Kathy Beal, host of Celestial Compass, featuring astrology you can use. Celestial Compass points you to what's going on in the sky and what you can do with it down here on Earth. We also explore fun, effective, and cosmic tools for navigating this adventure we call life. Join me the first and third Monday of the month at 5 p.m. Eastern Time for Celestial Compass. It's enlightening, entertaining, and empowering.
My loves, you know you're here as a soul-led leader to transform this world through the sharing of your passions and gifts. You are here to be in your warrior of light and align your business with your highest self. I'm Rosalind Fong of the show Activate Your Soulgasmic Business. Let's elevate your business to the next expansive level. I invite you to flow into a business soul alignment discovery call with me at rosalindfung.com. That's ROSALYN, fun as in have some fun, FUNG, and let's see how I can best hold space for you to align your highest self, magnetize your dream clients, and monetize on your soul mission. I can't wait to connect.
COVID-19, brought to you by CDC and the Ad Council.
Do you feel like your emotions are all over the place? That's normal during this abnormal time. There are a number of ways to cope. Maintain a healthy routine, get enough sleep, eat nutritious food, and exercise at least 30 minutes each day. Schedule some time to talk with a friend or family member. And remember, you can always take a few deep breaths to feel more centered.
Find more self-care and coping tips at coping-19.org.
Oh, lovely. Well, welcome back, everybody, here on Access to Angels and Grace. We have Noemi Grace here, myself, Lisa Berry, and you know, it's funny. I love listening to the commercials. Like, I almost forget that we're on air. and
I have to say that Rosalind Fung sounds really fun, and every time I hear it, I go, "Oh, maybe I should reach out."
Oh, she's adorable.
Become more
orgasmic. Yeah, she is so lovely. You'll have to do that. Everybody do. Yes, we just love everybody here that helps us. And in that commercial, which is what I was going to talk about, was we often hear about our highest self, our highest. And that's funny because the question that came to mind is kind of around that. And, we think, okay, well, is this higher self above me? Are they better than me? Is it the goody two shoes of me? Is it the happiest of, all these. And so
it is definitely not the goody two shoes of you.
No, because they're adventurous and all these things. So as we say about, exploring to get to know yourself, the question I heard really loudly in my little head there and stuff were...
No, you didn't hear it. You heard it in your heart and soul, honey.
My
and
heart,
the head.
yes. Yes. I heard it from my heart, my core. And it's all the people, including myself, who are saying, yeah, I keep making these choices that I don't feel good about. They're not... They don't feel in alignment with myself, but I don't know how to stop making them. Like maybe we're serving others, people's interests, maybe because we're trying to get their approval or whatever, or we're just afraid of success and all these things. So the question really is, how do we stop making misaligned choices?
Ooh, and the example you mentioned, let me write this down. How to stop. I put these questions down to jog my memory so that I come up with, when I post the replay link, a quote or an approximation of a quote of the divine. And because sometimes I can listen to the replay and sometimes I'm super busy. So with this question down here, I remember approximately what they said. And I always check, is it okay to say this? And they're like, yeah, that's good.
That's the
So
one.
what was the question again after all my rambling here?
That's good. How can we stop making misaligned choices?
Oh, misaligned. I love that word, misaligned.
Ooh, yeah. Not lined up.
Choices, right? Because we're talking about the choices that are in alignment with the truth of who you are. And what I loved is your example of, like, maybe you're in service to someone else, or you're self-sacrificing, or you're taking care of an important cause or something. So, but it's misaligned, maybe because maybe the choice itself is not misaligned. Maybe it's the degree to which you do it or how you do it that's misaligned, right? The misalignment can occur in lots of places.
Yes.
But it felt to me that, I don't know if you want to ask the question with that extra piece on the end. How can we stop making misaligned choices when we believe that they serve others or the greater good, or I don't know. That's just what's
maybe it's more.
stuck out.
I feel like it's more how to stop making misaligned choices when we know they're misaligned. But something else is overpowering us. Overpowering.
Yeah, so something else overpowers and something overpowers. Okay. Wow.
Ooh.
I think we can I think everybody's done that,
Yes.
And it's, in this question too, and again, somehow that example that you gave, it just really spoke to me of sort of like someone who persists in making that decision over and over again, or, self-sacrifice for a cause, or, the greater good, or not making time for self-care because other things are more important, and yet the in the heart of you, the truth of you, you know that you need some level of self-care. You know that you need more self-care. And your heart and soul are saying, self-care. And you're like, oh, no time for it.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
yeah, right? And the misaligned choices, if we make one misaligned choice and then we realize, ooh, yeah, not doing that again. That's not the question you're asking. You're asking about, right? Because sometimes we just learn by doing. So, but it's that question of okay, well, what about when that choice is repeated, when it's happened again, and maybe you don't even realize that you're making that same choice. Here I go again,
Yes, that was my word. Repeating. We're repeating it, knowing that it's not right. Maybe it's habit, it's culture, it's our own worthiness, it's others. All those. Oh, this is going to be so good.
Okay. Yes, they are. They are chomping at the bit. I can. I can feel it. Okay, so I'm going to just take a swig of water and then dive in. Oh, this is such a great question. Okay. So I'm just going to dive in, deepen that connection with the divine, and turn it over to them. Okay, there's so much in this question. I know you heard it. But when we're repeating choices that are misaligned, that are not aligned with the truth of who we are, how can we stop? How can we make a different choice? And we are grateful for this question. How to stop and make a different choice. So many choices are made on autopilot. So you're presented with the same opportunity to choose the same thing or do something different. And as you arrive at the same opportunity, which may not be something big, it may be saying yes or no to someone or something. So as you arrive at that same opportunity, you humans tend to go down that path that has been gone before. It is the path of autopilot. It is the path of default. It is the path, some call it the path of least resistance. It is that path where you do not even think necessarily, you're not conscious fully. You just go down that same path. That same person asks you to do something and you know that you don't have time for it, but you go down and you say, sure, you might even say, I can't do it right now, but I can do it in half an hour. And yet inside you there may be a strong sense that this is something you need to say no to. This is something you need to choose differently. And it's not always yes and no. It might be, I can't do it today, but I can do that for you tomorrow. Or it might be, I am doing for me today what my heart and soul, what the truth of who I am, what my essence would love for me to do. And as has already been mentioned, the more that you know the truth of who you are, the more that you're aware of the beauty, the brilliance, the power, the grace, the kindness, the generosity, but that strength of who you are, the more that you're going to choose what is in alignment with that unique expression of divine love and wisdom and grace and power that you are. And these choices, the more that you can choose what's in alignment, the easier it gets. It is that first time that you are there, about to choose again on autopilot, that which does not serve you, that which your soul, your heart knows it is not the best for you. Maybe it is the worst for you. Maybe you are really sacrificing yourself for another. And we understand when you have young children, a level of sacrifice is often required. A baby will not keep her crying all night long and not feed her. However, it becomes a pattern with so many of you to sacrifice yourself on behalf of another. Stop when you are going to do that behavior. Recognize it. Learn to recognize, what does that self-sacrificing behavior look like? Stop. Ask yourself, is this what is for my highest good? Is this what's best for me? Yes, sometimes what's best for you and what's best for another may not match up. And then whom do you choose? But we say to you, what's best for you may appear to not be best for the other. But sometimes when you say no to another, it opens them up to a new opportunity to do for themselves, or to find a different avenue to get where they want to go. And so do not think in your head, oh, but they need this. How do you know that they need this? Allow yourself to choose for you and allow them to respond in what way is best for them. And so recognition first that you are in a habitual pattern, a habitual way to respond, an habitual choice. That habit, by choice by habit, has got you choosing something that doesn't serve you. So maybe you don't realize it in the moment, but after you've said yes, or after you've said no, or after you've done what it is that someone asked you the favor, or after you've not taken care of yourself and you've stayed up all night working, or whatever it is, that you recognize, oh, I'm back there again. I am back there again. I made a misaligned choice. I did not choose what is in the highest and best for me. You may start by recognizing it after the fact. Then, as you continue to be aware more and more, you will catch yourself in the very act of making that misaligned choice, and be willing to realign yourself and say, I thought I could do this, but I realize right now I can't. And tell someone, I can't sacrifice myself for you. You wouldn't use those words, but I can't do this. I'm so sorry. Be willing to say that. And eventually you will catch yourself before you go and choose the path of least resistance that had been the path of least resistance, and you are carving out another path that will be the path of new least resistance, which is a path of taking care of you and serving you and caring for you and nurturing you and knowing you and honoring you in your choices. And so be willing to recognize where you are making those choices that don't serve you. Be willing to change that. Be willing to put yourself first. Because if you don't take care of yourself first, you will not be benefiting, and neither will the other person. They may appear to be benefiting, but you will be hurting yourself. You must take care of yourself first. Even in the case where you have to respond to someone who is unable to care for themselves, take care of yourself to the degree that you can. Do not sacrifice too much. Do not put yourself on the back burner and turn it off. Do not forget yourself in the equation. We are here saying each one of you is ultimately very important to us, to the universe. You think you are small, tiny beings. You are of great importance. And if you do not take care of the important being that you are, you do yourself a disservice, and you do the whole universe a disservice. You are great and greatly loved. And in great love, we are complete in this transmission. Namaste.
Ooh. Some fun things showed up there that we hadn't yet considered. So I'm very grateful for that. And what it was is, we have this thing that we really, because we're human, we think we are making that best decision, but yet, like, say I was sacrificing myself. What is what I heard from the channeled message here is, say I believe I'm making a choice because I think I have to be in service of this other person. Mm-hmm. Yet I'm making the decision that is right for the other person. Maybe it's not right even for the other person. So I feel like I know everything. Oh, I know what's right for me, and I know what's right for them. But yet, if we can surrender and say, you know what, it's not right for me, and whether it is or not right for them, we don't know that it could be the best thing ever if you just listen to what's right for you, because that is what's right.
Yeah, because maybe the person that you're sacrificing for is not taking care of themselves, or they're entitled or demanding, and there's an opportunity for them to free themselves from that. Maybe it won't happen right away, but by doing those behaviors and those choices that we're over-serving the other person, we could be underserving them. because maybe what they need to learn here is to do for themselves, right? Maybe someone seems kind of helpless, so we have to do all these things for them. And perhaps what's best for them is to learn how to do for themselves, because the day will come where they need to do it, and we're not going to be there to do it for them.
Exactly. This is just reminding me of this. I remember at first thinking, oh my gosh, people are going to think I'm such a poo head. But I was in a grocery store and a poo head. So I was being nice here.
You Canadians have the weirdest expression sometimes.
But I was in a grocery store, probably a grocery store, and this lovely little elderly woman was in the grocery store, and she was trying to reach something from a higher shelf than maybe she could have reached. And as opposed to yes, of course I was going to go over there and help her, but I asked her first. I said, "Would you like some help? I'm here to help you." But I didn't want to just go, because I really know how important it is to, first of all, get our hands over our head. Is very important for our lymphatic system and blood flow. And I didn't want to take that opportunity away from her, because I didn't want to enable her to not have the movement. Maybe she was really looking forward to reaching up high and getting something. So, and I remember thinking, people, why don't I just go over there and help her? But it's so important that we don't overserve, because it can be underserving.
Absolutely. And that's such a great example. And I'm thinking, I wish you lived near me, because you're a few inches taller than me, and I cannot reach that thing at the top shelf. I used to climb, but now as I'm getting older, I try not to climb on the shelves, because I don't feel like they can necessarily hold me up. And so, but sometimes I'm looking for the tall person in the aisle. Excuse me, could you help me get that box way back there? So, that's really great. Maybe perhaps she wants to feel independent and doesn't want to, and maybe she feels like she's a burden, so she doesn't ask, and so and you create a connection by asking, instead of just taking your cart, pushing it down, grabbing the thing, throwing it in her cart, keep going. You're making that connection. You're saying, excuse me, you're greeting her, you're asking her if you can be of service to her. And I think that's beautiful, because we don't make enough connections as human beings with strangers. We just don't do that so much of the time.
And in you saying that, I'm feeling like, where in our own lives, could we just get to know ourselves and have a little chat? Like, okay, what are you what top shelf item are you trying to get? Do you need assistance in your life? And really ask, like, where is it I do need help? Where is it I wish that these people, maybe, parents can be overburdening their stuff, and you think maybe you don't want somebody in your life so much. Maybe you need some space. Maybe that, and how can we ask those questions of ourselves and hear the true answer?
Yeah.
And with that, actually, I can't believe it's already commercial. This is crazy.
Wow. Yeah, because I started channeling earlier than usual. So, great conversation today. This is really amazing.
Yes. So what we'll do, I believe, so come on back after the commercial, people, because we are going to ask that very question. How can we get to know ourselves better? And how can we hear that?
Great question.
Conscious media for conscious minds. OMTimes. Being a radio host on IOM-FM allows you to build your show on a rich platform with the power of the internet to fulfill your outreach goals and connect with a very specialized and global online audience, unlimited by time and distance. OMTimes Radio will provide you with web relevance, a recognizable conscious brand, and with the standard of excellence that has accompanied every single OMTimes endeavor. Host your show with OMTimes Radio Network.
Consistently attract soulmate clients, begin showing up on brand, monetizing on your calling. Welcome all spiritual coaches, leaders, healers, light workers, and practitioners to a show that turns you on in your business and amplifies your magnetism. I'm host, catalyst, and spiritual business coach Rosalind Fung, and I'm here to journey with you into the juicy and help you discover where the real gaps are. Ignite your mindset and soul with strategies and systems as each episode takes you to the sweet spot that activates your soulgasmic business by tuning in on Tuesdays at 10 a.m. Mountain. Join me for your light language activation, and let's magnetize and monetize.
So I'm a cat, and I just moved in with this new human, and she's got this little toy she's always playing with, all day long. Tap, 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 bloop, bloop. She can't put it down. There it is. Oh, and get this. She even talks to it. Last week, she asked it for Chinese, and guess what? Egg rolls showed up. Like magic. Humans have cool toys.
A person is the best thing to happen to a shelter pet. Be that person. Adopt. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the ShelterPetProject.org.
Oh, all right. So Noemi, over the commercial, I was thinking about that very question we left off with, which is like, how can we get to know ourselves better? And I thought, ooh, I think a great place would start if you and I have a dialogue about when you don't know yourself, what does that life look like? What is the language we would use, and how are we showing up when we don't know ourselves? How can we identify that?
Okay. And before we go there, what I was writing down during the commercials, it was like, sometimes I remember a lot of what I'm channeling, and sometimes at the end, I have this, I feel so expansive and just heart, and in my heart, and I don't remember much. But I remember at the end, they said something like, you are ultimately important to the universe, and if you don't take care of yourself, you deprive not only yourself, but the universe of your unique wisdom, love, and power. And I just thought, we are all, every one of us, we're not small beings. We are all really, so we want to get to know ourselves. And we might think we know ourselves, but do we know ourselves as that being that's not a small being? That person, that being that has wisdom and power and grace and beauty and courage and all of these wonderful attributes.
I can't believe you said courage. That was one of my words
that just came out of me. I don't think they said courage. Maybe they said courage. But
I was thinking of that word. Yes, you're
well. I guess
you know
the mind
yourself.
was really wanting that courage. It does take
Yes.
courage to know yourself.
It does take courage to know yourself, and you also you have courage when you do know yourself. Like, you're able just to be you. Yes, you just when you know yourself, you are courageous. You are able to step into so many things with confidence, and creativity flows. And that I think what happens when we don't know ourselves is that we need to be needed. We let the world toss us around and let the world make the decision for us. Like, we might find ourselves often say, well, you decide, or I'll wait till they hire me. Like, I'll wait till they choose me, or we'll see what happens. A lot of the not driver's seat type thing when we don't know ourselves.
Yeah. And there's that habitual, so we keep doing the same thing, that autopilot kind of living where you don't know yourself. You're kind of on autopilot. You do the same thing over and over again. It's same day, making the same type, a different day, making the same type of choices over again. And when we have an opportunity to choose, we tend to make that same choice. We tend to just go down that path of least resistance, that path that we've always gone down. We don't go down a different path. And when we don't know ourselves, sometimes we don't know. So how can we know what's not right, what's best for us, right? So we're talking about you're ready and it's not happening. How do we know what's best for us if we don't know ourselves?
Exactly. I think that would be, that's really the question I think we need a little bit more clarity around is, when we say, I just want to mention this, when we say about having courage to get to know yourself, so I think maybe we can even ask this question in there too. Why are we so afraid to get to know ourselves? Why haven't we got to know ourselves? And what I would think is sometimes when we hear who we are, there are some dark corners. Noemi and I've talked many times about getting our flashlight out and looking in the dark corner. But because do we have the strength that when we do get to know ourselves and we think, ooh, I don't like this, or I need to work through this emotion. Like, there's self-work, inner work.
Mm-hmm. Oh, totally.
And do we know how? So I guess these are the questions of, like, say somebody's like, I don't want to get to know myself. I'm just here and I just want to get through life and then I'll die and that's fine. How do we move from there?
This reminds me of a passage in my book an intimate dialogue with God, the miraculous power of unconditional self-love, which I'm going to put a plug.
That's okay, please do.
To. It's a great holiday gift on Amazon. Anyway, there's a passage in there about that many of us are afraid, the divine said, many of you are afraid to look deep inside yourself because you think that what's in there is dark and ugly and shameful and all of these things. And the divine said, contrary, what's in there is, at the deeper you go, the more light there is, the more love there is, the more your unique essence of the truth of who you are, the more that's there, the more your brilliance and grace and unique expression of love is there. And so, yeah, it's sort of like, I think of it as sort of like the earth, you've got the crust outside, and then you've got this kind of layer of crystals and things, and you get down and there's some kind of molten thing, the lava, and at the middle is this really hot, I don't really know what's at the middle, but I assume I've heard of something like the central core crystal, but there's a hot place, and maybe there's the core of iron, they say, or something at the, so going through those different layers is I see that as getting to know ourselves, right? So maybe on the outside we're crusty. We've got this crustiness, and then there's another layer of greater crustiness as you go in. The rocks are hard, and then but then this starts softening up as you go in. It's more softness. It's more kindness. It's more grace. It's more beauty, more power, it's strength, so much wisdom. It's there, but you got to go deeper, right? So it's like you go a little deep, and you go, oh, this is hard, forget it. Or, oh, it's dark here, right? You're going into the cave, and maybe the cave, if you go far enough, it's a great opening and there's light, but you're saying, ooh, it's dark here, and we want to run away from it. But deeper than that is where all of that juiciness of who we are is. Deeper than the place where we want to turn around. So we got to go through that. Sometimes you got to walk through.
Yes, you're making me think of creme brulee right now, but all right.
You got to crack it. And then it's delicious.
My goodness.
Around your birthday, we talked about cake a lot, so now we're going with desserts. I love this. But
it is holidays, huh?
So maybe the question would be, So maybe the question too is how can we get to know ourselves? And here's the even better question to wrap it up is, how do we access our courage to get through the crusty part so we can get to the creamy? My creme brulee.
Creme brulee. Wow, that's a good question.
Accessing courage. Yeah, because, I can imagine, you're not feeling the greatest, and you're like, great, I already don't feel great. I'm ready, nothing's happening, I don't feel good. Where do we even get, when we're in that state, how can we access that courage? When we don't think we have the key.
I love questions about courage, yeah. It takes great courage to really discover who you are, and the more you discover, the less courage it takes. But at the beginning, it takes so much courage, So.
Yes.
Okay, that swig of water and going in, as I tell my husband, going into the divine, as we want to go in within ourselves. So. Yes. We do love this question. We thank you, Lisa, for hearing this question as it emerged within the heart of you in your connection with us. There's so much to say here. The greatest courage stems and flows and grows from love. And so to embrace that courage, embrace love. And maybe you don't have it for yourself. Maybe you haven't discovered that you too are love. But embrace our love. Sit and receive our love. We call this basking. Sit and bask. Receive. Open to receive our love. Even talk to us. Divine Source, God, Allah, Jehovah, whatever name you want to call us. We know that we're beyond naming. So call us. And we will answer. ask for our love, because when you receive our love, if you bask, and we've told Noemi Grace this over and over, bask, bask, so that she's making it a practice in the morning to get up and bask. Bask yourselves, bathe yourself in our love. In our love will melt resistance. Our love can melt the fear. Our love can melt everything that stands in the way of you and you, of you knowing you, of you being you, of you receiving you, of you choosing for you, of you and you, so that you and you become one and you are you. And so first, receive our love. It is always being given. We are always gifting our love. We are showering you with love as if we were a 24-hour-a-day sun, which that is always where the sun is always shining. And we are much greater than the sun. But our love is always there. It is always being showered upon you. So tune in as if you would tune the radio to a certain station and hear what is being broadcast there. We are broadcasting love, and we are broadcasting light, and we are broadcasting grace and wisdom. We are broadcasting so much to you all the time. So tune in. Even say, I'm here. Give me some love, please. And we're happy to give you that love. Fill me with love. Absolutely, we'll do it for you. We are here for you, in service to you. Many of you see yourselves as here in service to us, and we honor that and we appreciate that. But we are also, there is a mutual service going on, a mutual serving. We are here in service to you. Allow us to be in service to you. So step one, first, receive our love. Don't focus on, I need to be brave, I need to be courageous, because when you focus on the need to be brave and courageous, you focus on the need you focus on fear. Fear just creeps in. So put that aside, receive love, and then start to see yourself with eyes of love. Start to recognize that love is here, and love can empower you, and love will empower you if you allow it. Unconditional love will empower you. The courage that you are seeking is forged in unconditional love. And so receive our love, and then as you receive our love, allow that love to grow in you so that you can start to love yourself more, so that you can start to shower yourself more with love, so that you can start to gift yourself more with love, that you can start to receive more love from other sources in your life, that you can be filled with love. And in that love, when you are seeing with eyes of love, and then you see something, the fear is not there. Love and fear cannot occupy the same time and space. They are incompatible. One is the opposite of the other and the antithesis of the other. So allow yourself to be in love, receiving love, and then look at yourself with eyes of love. See yourself from love and ask us. We will remove the veils. We will remove all of that. Those glasses that you are wearing that show you in a dim and dark light. And as you see through love, you can see those things that were being labeled the crusty parts. You can see those, and they're not so hard and scary anymore. You can diffuse it. It is as if you bring some soft light to everything, and it does not look so harsh, because our love lights you up and lights the path for you to love yourself and to know yourself. In love is as if it is the beacon for you on your journey to see yourself, and you will see those things that seem scary as simply shadows of something not as scary, simply shadows of something in the past that hurt and was painful. And you can bring our love and your love to those things, and our love and your love will apply healing like a salve to those places by turning up the light. More light, please. You can ask us for that too. Turn up the love, turn up the light. We are here. We are here, always accessing that, always sharing that, always gifting you with that. And the courage lies within you, your unique essence of love and light and grace and wisdom, and in your connection to us. In great love, with much more to say, we eagerly anticipate our next sharing. Namaste. Wow.
That's a lot of love.
Love, baby. Get your dose of love.
Yes, I'm loving that. I feel like the word, there's a word of the show here for me today as we wrap up and say our goodbyes. But the word, I loved it because I'm so cat-like. But basking in love, basking. That's such a, I love that. So sometimes we don't feel like meditating or sleeping, but we can bask. And I just, what a great suggestion. Thank you, universe, for that. Thank you, Noemi.
Oh, and I've been basking, as I said, I'm basking in the morning, so
yes.
Practicing that basking. It's sometimes, that's the meditation of the day. Bask.
Yes,
it's a great meditation. Receive.
And if anybody needs to know how to, I thought of James Taylor. You've got a friend, just call out my name and I'll be there. So if anybody wants to go listen to that song and just bask in some beautiful of receiving. So sit, ask, receive, allow, receive, and it's love. It's just pure love. And thank you, Noemi, for doing your beautiful channeling for us this afternoon.
Today it was really deep. I know because I don't remember a whole lot of it, but I'm going to have to listen to this one again.
Some powerful messages. So hopefully,
thank you for listening.
Yes, thank you. And if hopefully you're feeling a little bit more aligned. So it's not that you're not ready. It's that you're going to get more aligned and become more organically ready. And we'll see everybody we'll join everybody again on the 27th of December. That is a Monday.
Yes. And for those of you who celebrate the holidays, happy holidays. And we will see you in the midst of the holidays.
Yes,
blessings.
Wonderful. Thank you, everybody. Bye, Noemi.
Thank you. Bye, Lisa.
Bye-bye.